Today is May 1st. It's St. Joseph's feast day. St. Joseph, the worker. And on this feast day, we recognize those who are laborers out in the workforce. Originally, the church set this day as a contrast to the May Day that the communist countries were doing to celebrate the worker as and the government as the vanguard of the proletariat. But the church set this to honor human work and the gift of human freedom, recognizing that we use our gifts, our abilities, to glorify God in whatever way in which we serve him and do human labor. But it's also the day when, in the Acts of the Apostles, we get to hear of the conversion of St. Paul. We've come up to chapter 9, and it starts out this way. Saul, still breathing murderous threats against the disciples of the Lord, went to the high priest and asked him for letters to the synagogues in Damascus, that if he should find any men and women there who belong to the way, that's the way they referred to as the Christian movement, that he might bring them back to Jerusalem in chains. Well, on his way to Damascus, what happened? A flash of light came from the sky, and it knocked Saul to the ground. And then the Lord spoke to him, Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? He didn't say, why are you persecuting my people? You have to remember, the church is the body of Christ. At the Second Vatican Council, the church is a sacrament. Christ is present in the people of God. So when you mess with my people, you're messing with me. Saul, why are you persecuting me? Saul is struck completely blind, unable to see, and he's led into Damascus. Then, at the same time, the Lord appears to one of the disciples, a Christian disciple in Damascus named Ananias, and tells him to go now to see this man named Saul of Tarsus. And Ananias says, I have heard of this Saul of Tarsus. He's an enemy of the church. Basically saying, Lord, do you know what you're doing? Of course, the Lord knows exactly what he's doing, because the greatest enemy of the church is about to become the greatest proponent, the greatest evangelist, the greatest proclaimer of the gospel of Jesus Christ. So Ananias goes and prays over Saul, and he receives his eyesight like scales falling from his eyes. What a great story. And it's a true story. And it's a story of transformation, an amazing conversion. Again, one of those stories that tells us do never underestimate the grace and the power of God. So it always makes me think of that song, Amazing Grace, written by a slave owner, a captain of a ship who used to bring slaves into the United States. But he had a conversion experience, and his eyes were open to see these are human beings, my brothers and sisters. And it opened his eyes, and a conversion experience, and he put all that behind him. Well, Saul now is coming to a new awareness. And so we're called to have that same new insight when conversion happens, to recognize that the people in our lives, sometimes we treat them as a thing, whether we just see them as a person, as a means to a business deal that I'm trying to accomplish, or somebody who works somewhere and I just need them to check out the groceries and I need to go. We're not treating them as a human being. Or somebody might feel lustful about and treating them as a thing, not as a person, or anybody that we fail to show respect for. We have the same blindness. But Christ wants us to see him in every person. And so the amazing grace that God gives us opens our hearts, our minds, and our eyes. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. God bless you.